Here we go. Please allow me, as a lifelong diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, to just get this over with. Just pay my public price now. Accept my on-camera fate now. Burn myself at the YouTube stake for all the world to see right now. Get it over with before I have to spend another endless season getting burned by the team I grew up living for and often dying for, especially of late. Proclamation for all the world to hear. I accept that Mike McCarthy, who's like a son to Jerry Jones, will be my head coach next year and probably for the next 3 years. Jerry talked in mostly circles after the game. Sunday against Washington, they blew at the end, fell to 2-7 at home. Some of the quotes here, I don't know what to make of most of them, but all I take away is this one. I don't know that I am considering making a change is what I'm trying to say, said Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones said of Mike McCarthy, Mike is one of the best coaches out there, and he has done absolutely nothing to diminish my opinion of him as a coach. Even though my team lost 6 straight home games, starting with the playoff game 1 year ago against Green Bay, in which we got blown off the field in record fashion 6 straight times. In NFL history, you can't find a worse home stretch than the one that was overseen, was head coached by Mike freaking McCarthy. But this is a done deal. It's been clear for weeks. It's a done deal, and that I am done for next year. So, proclamation. I accept that Dak Prescott, who is still 2-5 in the playoffs, will be my quarterback next season, and we will miss the playoffs again. I accept it. I admit it. I give you this. Only this time next year with a slightly improved 9-8 record. We'll go 9-8 next year. Proclamation. I accept that Jerry Jones will make Micah Parsons the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. That Micah once again will be preseason favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. But that he'll have another sensationally quiet season that will leave Cowboy fans the world over wanting so much more. Proclamation. I accept that Gerald Wayne Jones Jr. will own and will operate my Dallas Cowboys till death do him part from this realm. I don't know how much longer Jerry's going to live. I hope 20, 30 more years. But because of that, however long he lives, he's going to make the final football decisions for my football team, whether I like it or not. Jerry's interviews are getting weirder and weirder. I'm afraid he's lost his fastball. I'm afraid he's gone Jerry Biden. But I'm stuck with him, with that head coach, with that quarterback, with that highest paid defensive player ever. I will tell you, bright spots for you Cowboy Nation faithful out there. We do have the greatest kicker ever. We do have the best kick returner in the NFL. We do have the world's best receiver. You know who I'm talking about. So we obviously have enough to be respectable to go 9-8. Surely we'll be a little better than 2-7 at home next year. Those first 5 games of this year, they're over by halftime. I'll go 9-8. And so go ahead, laugh at me, laugh at us, just get it over with now while I'm bearing my soul for you. And by the way, this time you can't call me a delusional Cowboy fan because I'm not this time predicting a Super Bowl. I'm saying 9-8. You know what I wanted? I campaigned. I beat this table. I wanted Jim Harbaugh for my head coach. after that 27-0 first half that we fell behind against Green Bay in the home playoff game. I wanted Jim Harbaugh, and look at him now. He's the NFL Coach of the Year out here in Los Angeles for the Chargers. And I am predicting the Chargers are about to win at Houston. Then I'm on the record. I'm predicting. Then they will go shock the Chiefs in Kansas City. The Chargers will. They will make it all the way to Baltimore before losing in the AFC Championship game at Ravens. What if Jerry Jones had jumped out there and hired Jim Harbaugh, who's actually him Harbaugh? You know how I felt. I banged the table for this. I wanted my man, Deion Sanders, to please come home to Dallas to head coach the Dallas Cowboys, the job he was born to do. But no. Deion is committed to staying in college, to coach college football, to help turn kids into men, prospects into pros. God bless him for that. God help my Dallas Cowboys. Book it. I'm stuck with that bump on a sideline log. Please drop the mic, McCarthy. Worst motivator this side of a Galapagos turtle. Speaking of Coach Prime, I predicted before the season that his son Shedeur would be the first pick in the draft, despite an ESPN.com breakdown that had Shedeur going high second round, maybe late first. What? I told you right here on this show. What? How about first overall? So now we know. Tennessee has the first overall pick, followed by Cleveland, then the New York Football Giants third. I said before the draft, before his draft, I was not a Will Levis fan, and now I'm not sure the Titans are either. So, Shedeur to Nashville? Gut feeling, just my gut feeling, no. Shedeur to the Browns? Big no. Deion Sanders has said several times publicly that he just might, quote unquote, pull an Eli with his son. In 2004, as you remember, the San Diego Chargers had the number 1 overall pick, but Eli's father, Archie, made it clear that if the Chargers took Eli, he would not play for San Diego in San Diego. Chargers soon caved and traded Eli to the Giants, where Eli, of course, became the toast of New York for beating Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls. I see Deion taking a page out of Archie's playbook and forcing his son's way out of Nashville and Tennessee and Titans. I see Shedeur winding up in New York with Malik Neighbors playing for the Giants. Feels like Shedeur was born to play in New York, and I think Deion wants him to play in New York, to become the toast of New York, to, as they used to say, play the palace. And it just feels to me like Deion will finally convince Tennessee, no way, no how is my son playing for you, and that Tennessee will opt for Cam Ward with the first overall pick, regrettably on their part, reluctantly on their part, and leave Shedeur for the Giants, not for Cleveland, because Deion will make it clear. You draft him, he ain't coming. Not for you, not for this franchise, not for this city. Sorry, we want New York, and I believe Deion will get his way, because that's what Deion does. So, if I'm right about this, and I believe I am, that means I'll be stuck with Dak Prescott, who will have to play Shedeur twice, and Jaden Daniels twice, and Jalen Hurts twice every single year. Lord, have mercy. And By the way, yes, I'm talking about Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts. I'm going to say it again. The Philadelphia Eagles are unfortunately going to win the Super Bowl. The upcoming Super Bowl. Right here, right now, Super Bowl. Because Howie Roseman is Executive of the Year, while Jerry Jones is Executive of the Rear. The Eagles, of course, opened this season with a 34-29 win over the Packers in Brazil. I did have the Eagles and Packers in the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia. I was wrong about that, but I will not be wrong about this. Eagles 24, Packers 14, Sunday in Philadelphia. And if the Eagles have to go win at Detroit, they will. The Eagles have the best defense in the National Football League. The Lions do not. Quick sip of Breakfast of Champions, Nectar of the Gods. Diet Mountain Dew. Can't live without it. Near the end of Sunday night's Vikings at Lions game, first ever between two 14-win teams, game of the year, Chris Collinsworth said on NBC, and I quote, "Stunning performance by Detroit's defense." I got to tell you, I love Chris Collinsworth. So football smart with such a conversational delivery that just goes down so easily. But on this point, I obviously disagree. What have I said all year long? Never backing off, never backing down from this stance. What have I said since before the 2018 draft? That Sam Darnold is not him. That you just can't trust Sam Darnold when it really matters, as it did Sunday night. Is Sam Darnold a really good guy? Yes. Did he deserve to make the Pro Bowl this year? Sure. But Sunday night, right on schedule, Sam Darnold turned back into Sam Darnold. He missed, 8 or 10 throws, including 2 for touchdowns, including one horrendous overthrow of a wide open Justin Jefferson in the end zone. Sam Darnold went 18 of 41. Do the math on that. Way under 50%. 18 of 41 for 166 yards, 0 touchdowns for a QBR, drumroll please, of 17. That scale of 0 to 100. His QBR, my favorite stat, was 17 in the game of the year. The Vikings went 3 of 13 on third down. Ugh. And 0 of 3 on fourth down. Double ugh. Sam Darnold. The Vikings did win the turnover battle. 2 turnovers for Detroit, none for Minnesota, yet lost the game 31-9. Sam Darnold. I'm sorry, Chris. It's just hard for me to give Detroit's defense that much credit for shutting down Sam Darnold. By the way, in the 3 previous games leading up to Sunday night's Titanic clash, Detroit's defense gave up 559 yards and 48 points at home to Josh Allen and the Bills, as Detroit lost 48-42. Then that Detroit D allowed the Bears 382 yards. Then at the 49ers, that Detroit D gave up 475 yards and 34 points. Did that Detroit defense that Chris was raving about. Now, it is 8th in points allowed. It's pretty good. But 24th in yards allowed, which is scary bad. And the injuries, of course, just keep mounting, even though they did get Alex Anzalone back Sunday night. They could get, maybe it's a long shot, but they could get Aiden Hutchinson back if they make a deep playoff run. But obviously, the Lions win with their offense, which isn't all just aerial circus, sis boom ba. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs ran 23 times for 132 yards against a Minnesota defense that is much better than Detroit's. That allowed Detroit to control the clock 34 minutes to 26 minutes. That was the story of the game of the year. Man, I couldn't even get worked up about the job that Amik Robertson did on Justin Jefferson. I have said this from the start. I double down, I triple down. I've said that Justin Jefferson has been, I guess, overhyped. Mostly because those, how did he do that catches that he makes fairly routinely? But I'm sorry, I just don't see a big game, blood and guts baller. I don't see a CeeDee Lamb in Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver in football. Now, maybe I'm a prisoner of Justin Jefferson's 3 games against my Dallas Cowboys, all losses by Minnesota. But Justin Jefferson has never done elite damage to the Cowboys. He did have 86 yards in the first game, but then 21 yards, then 33 yards. Only 1 touchdown in those 3 losses. In fact, quick point of order, this season Justin Jefferson failed to catch a touchdown pass in 8 of his last 11 games, and he's supposed to be the best? Really? But if you want to fire back at me with, yeah, look who's throwing him the football, you got me, touche, Sam Darnold. Look, I watched Sam Darnold a whole lot, watched him carefully at USC. I just didn't see the big game poise and the command and the fiery leadership I often saw in Baker Mayfield. I said Baker Mayfield should go number 1 overall in that draft over Sam Darnold. And I'm sure everybody laughed and just dismissed me as just another crazed Oklahoma Sooner fan. I'm crazed, but not about Baker. I was right about Baker. I have defended Baker Mayfield every step of the way in the National Football League, through every misstep when he was hurt in Cleveland and when he fell victim to the NFL's worst franchise in Carolina. But look at Baker Mayfield now. Face of the franchise in Tampa Bay, fiery leader of the Bucs, who have now won back-to-back division titles. Look at him now. And they pulled it off. They closed it out Sunday, thanks to Baker Mayfield. 2 late clutch down throws on 4th and 8. What a throw that was. And then got a running start up through the pocket, threw it off the wrong foot for a touchdown, corner of the end zone. Whew! 2 great throws, 2 clutch guts throws. Nobody is better down late than Baker Mayfield. Nobody. Man, I just love watching him play quarterback. Plays with his heart, plays with his will. He also plays with an underrated whip of an arm. Give me Baker Mayfield over Sam Darnold, especially in a playoff game. So as much as I love Jaden Daniels, you know how much I love him, how much I already believe in him. Give me Baker and the Bucs at home Sunday night over the Commanders. After all, Jaden is a rookie, albeit an incomparable rookie, but maybe I'm going hard over head here. Give me Baker. Give me the Bucs 35-31. And then give me the Rams at home Monday night over the Vikings. Even as Sam Darnold goes home to Southern California. Give me Matthew Stafford coming off a week off over Sam Darnold. He's not Sam Darnold to me. He's just Sam Darnold. It's just same when it matters the most. Give me Matt Stafford over Sam Darnold. It's just going to be so hard for the Vikings to pick themselves back up off the mat for a road playoff game after playing the game of the year in Detroit. Give me Rams 30-20 over Vikings. In fact, I will bet you that after Sunday night's game at Detroit, one or two of the Vikings decision makers, maybe in ownership or in the front office, at least momentarily considered starting Daniel Jones over Sam Darnold. They won't do that, but I will bet you they at least thought about it late Sunday night going into Monday morning. Quick sip of dew. I can make a strong case that Lamar Jackson deserves MVP again. But I don't want him to win MVP again. I want him to win the AFC Championship game. I wouldn't mind it if he won his first Super Bowl. But no. Please, not another MVP. Not a third MVP. When, unfortunately, Lamar is just 2-4 in the playoffs. He's 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions in the playoffs with 3 lost fumbles. And please, not an MVP after he stunk it up at home, of course, in last year's AFC Championship game last January when Lamar got outplayed by Patrick Mahomes in Baltimore. No more premature individual awards for Lamar Jackson. As the great Michael Clark Duncan said in one of my all-time favorite movies, Talladega Nights, don't put that evil on me. Don't put that evil on Lamar Demetrius Jackson Jr. He already has enough pressure on him. In fact, I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson has the most pressure on him of any player in the 2025 NFL playoffs. I mean, heaven help Lamar if he and the Ravens get eliminated at home Saturday night. My division nemesis, Pittsburgh. The Steelers, of course, have free fallen into the playoffs, have backed into the playoffs, lost their last 4 badly. 2 weeks ago, they did lose at Baltimore 34-17. And now Russell Wilson's Steelers look like they belong more in the Ivy League than in the NFL playoffs. Ravens, 9.5-point favorites. But Lamar is, yikes, he's 2-4 in his career against the Steelers, same as his playoff record. All of which to me is more ominously scary than Nosferatu. But no, not this time. This time, Lamar Jackson finishes off what well might have been the single most all-around impactful quarterback season in NFL history. He's actually not getting enough credit for that. Lamar Jackson was the first quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards and run for 900 yards. Lamar Jackson threw 41 touchdown passes to only 4 interceptions. I repeat, 4 total interceptions the whole year. Lamar Jackson was the first quarterback ever to throw for 40-plus touchdowns with fewer than 5 interceptions. First ever. What a season Lamar Jackson has had. And I'm here to tell you, it won't mean spit if he loses to the Steelers or maybe at the Bills, or even if Lamar and the Ravens wind up losing the AFC Championship game, wherever it is. It could be at the Chiefs, wherever it is. So I am sticking with Josh Allen as my MVP, barely, just because he's done slightly more with less. Ravens did have 9 Pro Bowlers to only 2 for the Bills. Josh Allen did finally clean up his act this season. He did cut his turnovers from career high 22 last year down to only 8 this year. And without Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen led the Bills to 13-3. 13-3. Who saw that coming? He did outplay Mahomes head-to-head in Buffalo, and he did outscore what most people consider the best offense in the NFL, the Lions, 48-42 in Detroit. Congrats, Josh. You're it. You're the MVP. Even though, I must admit, I'd take Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen any Sunday or Monday or Thursday or Saturday or any day or any night. I'll be the first to admit, I did not see this Lamar Jackson coming when he played at Louisville. I guess no one really did, except maybe the great Ozzie Newsome and the Ravens. But Lamar Jackson has won me completely over. He's a tough-minded baller, deadly dart thrower. He's mastered the art of knowing when to stand and deliver, when to take off and flash and crash through a defense. Just torment a secondary with his ability to take off with such instant speed and then run with such power. Whew. He's got a little fullback in him when he wants. Lamar Jackson will compete at the highest level, will battle with every ounce of his heart and his soul for every second of 60 minutes. But no, you got me on this. I did not like his approach to last year's AFC home championship game when he did try to out Mahomes to throw way too many pocket passes when he could have taken off. He went 20 of 37 for 272, way too many incompletions. He did throw a big interception. He did lose a big fumble. Ravens turned it over 3 times. Remember Zay Flowers? My God, that fumble at the goal line. Oh, still haven't gotten over that. Chiefs turned it over 0 times. Mahomes and Kelsey jumped out to a 17-7 lead at halftime, and they hung on 17-10. I did a Lil Wayne show on Apple Music the next day. I must have soul searched for, 20 straight minutes, trying to explain, trying to figure out, trying to grasp exactly what had happened to Lamar and the Ravens. And I talked about how much I feared for him going into next season, which is now this season, which is now. Here we are again. No, I admit it. I did not love the way Lamar and company played at home. That was week 2 against the Raiders and lost. Or at Cleveland and lost. I said so right here on the show. At Pittsburgh and lost. 3 sorry losses. Didn't love any of that. Yet 4 weeks ago, the Ravens had a 28% chance of winning the division. And they did what a man I got to know very well, Thomas Wade Landry. Tom Landry, God's coach, what he always preached, they streaked into the playoffs. They won their last 4 by a combined score of 135-43. Streaked, as Coach Landry preached. To my eyes, right here, right now, the Ravens look like the best team in the tournament. The best. But I'll stick with my preseason Super Bowl prediction. I got Eagles over Ravens. Hey, I would take Lamar at least making it to the Super Bowl for the first time. I don't want to heap any more pressure on this man, but this time is his time. This is his turn. This is year 7, age 27. I believe Lamar Jackson will go down as the greatest number 8 in NFL history. And by the way, I covered a great one, Troy Aikman in Dallas. Troy went 3-0 in Super Bowls for my Cowboys. Once upon a time, Barry Switzer tried to make Troy Aikman a wishbone option quarterback at Oklahoma. It didn't really work. So obviously, Troy was never in Lamar's stratosphere as a runner, but could Troy ever throw laser darts? Whew. I'm not predicting Lamar will go 3-0 in Super Bowls eventually. I'm only predicting right here, right now, that Lamar Jackson will be above 500 before playing in this year's Super Bowl. .500 in the postseason before playing in this year's Super Bowl. That means he'll go from 2-4 to 5-4, even if that requires winning this Saturday night without Zay Flowers and winning at Josh Allen. And I don't know, maybe even having to win at Patrick Mahomes. Whatever is required, this time is his time. This is Lamar's year. I'll go Ravens 32, Steelers 10. Okay, so even I put a little bit more pressure on Lamar. He can handle it this time. Diet Dew, breakfast of champions. I believe Andy Reid basically threw the game Sunday at Denver. I believe Andy Reid called plays he hoped would go nowhere. I believe he instructed Steve Spagnuolo, his defensive coordinator, to call generic, easy-to-read defenses that would ensure success for Broncos rookie quarterback Bo Nix. No. The Chiefs did not play a lot of their regulars, but, as much as I never loved Carson Wentz, he isn't that bad. I mean, he well might have won MVP if he hadn't gotten hurt late in that 2017 season as the Eagles were on their way to the Super Bowl. Sunday at Denver, Carson Wentz was 10 of 17 for 98 yards and a QBR, again, scale of 0 to 100, of 22. Bo Nix had a QBR of 97 to 22. Rookie quarterback, biggest game of the year for the Broncos, QBR of 97. What? The apparently prideless Chiefs lost 38 to nothing at Denver. 38 to nothing. So why do I believe Andy Reid made sure his team had no chance of pulling off any kind of shocking underdog upset? Because no way did the Chiefs want to be responsible for opening the back door of the playoffs to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs are scared to death of Joe Burrow. As much as I love and as much as I root for Lamar Jackson, as much as I like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts and Matt Stafford and Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow is still the best quarterback in the world. An underrated pocket tap dancer and escape artist with underrated quickness and speed and supreme toughness. There's no quarterback tougher than this kid. He ain't afraid of no Mahomes or no Arrowhead, as we have seen. No way Andy Reid wanted Joe Burrow rising from a near playoff grave and showing up in Kansas City to end their run at a record third straight Super Bowl. So Sunday at Denver, Andy Reid just flat out punted the game. 38 to nothing. Run, Chiefs, run. Hide, Chiefs, hide. From Joe Bleepin' Burrow. Closest thing we have left to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. P.S. Bills 27, Broncos 10. Over and out. So here's my 2 cents worth of advice to any team that might trade for Jimmy Butler in the back half of his nearly $50 million contract this year. Buyer beware. Difficult to coach. Can be hard on psychologically vulnerable teammates. See Karl Anthony Towns at Minnesota. Can be a little insecure himself as a former junior college player who eventually went 30th overall in the draft. Now 35 years old is Jimmy Butler, 14-year veteran is Jimmy Butler, and maybe not as big game clutch as his reputation can lead you to believe. Yep, he has been playoff Jimmy in earlier playoff rounds. Remember 2 years ago? He all-time torched Giannis and the Bucks in the first round. 5 games in the 4 wins, 4 Heat wins. You'll recall playoff Jimmy went for 35, 30, 56, and 42 while shooting 60% from the floor for the series and 44% from 3 for the series. 44%. He's a career 33% from 3. But this is just me. Every time I've rooted for playoff Jimmy in the finals, he's just oddly left me disappointed and frustrated time after time after time, mostly because of playoff Jimmy. I did pick the Heat to beat the Lakers in the bubble in the finals. I did pick the Heat to beat the Nuggets in the finals. And playoff Jimmy had several lifeless games in both finals, especially in the closeout games against the Lakers in the bubble in Game 6. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, took only 10 shots, shot only 3 free throws, made only one of those 3, scored only 12 points. That's the closeout game in the bubble. I was out of my mind. Then against the Nuggets, and this would be closeout Game 5. Playoff Jimmy went 5 of 18. 5 of 18? Come on, Jimmy, where are you, man? Disappeared. But, as you know, he has made 5 all-defensive teams. They're second teams, but he made 5 of them. He did lead the league in steals 4 years ago, but I'm pretty sure he can't play defense at that level right here, right now. And Jimmy Butler is somehow going to be the savior somewhere, somehow. He's going to carry his new team to a championship that he's never won. I'm here to tell you, playoff Jimmy is getting real close to being more trouble than he's worth. Now for the most amazing basketball player I have ever carefully observed, carefully studied, Victor Wembanyama. I watched a whole lot of Wemby versus Joker. This was Friday night, Denver, and then Saturday night in San Antonio. This is what I saw. I saw a long, thin, 7'4" shooting guard with rare ball skills, perfect form shooting the basketball, who, even as a rookie last year, was by far the best shot blocker in the NBA. Wemby, to this point this year, his second year, Wemby has 116 blocks, followed in second place by Walker Kessler with 71. 116 to 71 already this year, just running away with the blocks lead. Obviously, if Chet Holmgren were healthy from my Oklahoma City Thunder, could be a little different story, but Chet still finished a distant second last year. Wemby bothers or changes another, 10 or 12 shots every night, just by lurking in the lane. Yet, Wemby also pulled off a freakish first on Saturday night in a game that went overtime. Think about this. Wemby had 23 rebounds. Every one of them defensive rebounds. That was the most defensive rebounds ever without a single offensive rebound. How did that happen? Well, on offense, Wemby often just hangs out at the three-point line. Wemby attempts the 7th most three-point shots per game in the NBA. That's 9.3 attempted threes per game. 9.3. He took 12 Saturday night against Denver. He went 2 of 12 as the Spurs lost pretty badly in overtime. Wemby's making 35.4% from 3. It's not bad for a 7'4" guy, but that ranks 111th in the NBA of 175 qualified three-point shooters. So think about it. 7th in attempts, 111th in makes. Not great, though from what I'm told, the Spurs just accept that this is who this kid is and will always be, and they don't try to change it. He is just not a paint dominator who crashes the boards for offensive rebounds. He blocks shots on defense with extreme length and supreme agility and timing, but no physicality, none whatsoever. Would you believe the Nuggets often played zone against Wemby, and many times guards wound up guarding Wemby? It's like that was the game plan, especially Russell Westbrook, who had success against Wemby even when Wemby sort of tried to post up Russ, who's more than a foot shorter than Wemby. Russ physically bodied Wemby out of any paint comfort zone. And if Wemby tried to dribble against Russ just attacked the basketball, and often successfully. Wemby had 8 turnovers on Friday night, and he's tied for 5th in the NBA in turnovers now. His usage rate is 3rd in the league. 3rd in the league? So I'm trying to add all these numbers up, and I think they add up to the Spurs being what they are, 18 and 17, just one game above 500. That's right now tied for 8th, which is a playoff spot. But, with Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes and Devin Vassell and Kelvin Johnson, I can go on and on. This team just should be a little bit better, 3 or 4 games better with Wemby. I'm going to give you this about Wemby. He will take and make big fourth quarter shots. He's got guts. Not physical guts, but just intangible guts. He will compete. I mean, Friday night on the key late possession for Denver, Wemby got after Joker. He forced him off his spot and into a desperate pass cross court that Wemby deflected into the game-turning turnover. What a bizarrely amazing basketball player is Victor Wembanyama. A 7'4" three-point gunner who just might be the greatest shot blocker in NBA history. What? I conclude with a quick thought about another freakish athlete. Not in Wemby's league, but freakish nonetheless. Before the season began, I predicted that Brock Bowers, now a Raider, as a rookie, would be the best rookie receiver regardless of position. And Brock Bowers is listed as a tight end, even though he does play sort of a hybrid wide receiver role for the Raiders, which is what he played at Georgia. I don't think I've ever seen a faster tight end. I'm pretty sure I definitely haven't seen a tight end with this much wiggle and make you miss. Brock Bowers is a freakishly gifted tight end who, by the way, did lead all rookie receivers in catches regardless of position. Brock Bowers had 112 catches, which set the rookie record for tight ends, but also was the most catches of all the rookie receivers by 3 over Malik Neighbors, who next year, unfortunately for my Cowboys, will be catching passes from Shedeur Sanders. Great. That's it for this episode. Thanks to Tyler Korn for producing, to Ernestine for overseeing, and to Hazel for approving. And I can't wait for Skip versus Ernestine with Hazel refereeing this Wednesday.